Pyrokinetic Izuku x Momo, Episode 1, a quirk? Quick note before starting, thank you to my friend Komne for letting me use his characters in these stories. I love his writing and he is the person that inspired me to start doing these. Also, please don't raise a fuss about it being Izu Momo. It is the product of a series of random options, including whether the relationship would be straight, gay, or pan, and then after landing on straight the next spin landed on Momo. Sorry to anyone who wanted to see something else. Well, seeing as this is our first meeting, I should introduce myself. My colleagues call me Watcher. And before you ask, no, not the Marvel kind. And my job is to watch and report on, let's call them aberrations of the multiverse. Then those aberrations are handled, violently. But who I am doesn't matter, what matters is the stories I tell. You see, as you witness stories play out, that is the optimal sequence of events to create that story. But that doesn't mean that it is the only story there is of that world. Every choice changes the outcome of the future, no matter how small that choice may be. And this is one of those stories that is the result of things going a little differently. We peek into a variation of the My Hero Academia timeline. An alternate universe, or AU if you will. One where instead of quirkless, young Izuku Midoriya, a linchpin in this world, was born with a quirk. So, let's see how this changes things, shall we? Izuku, age 4, Mommy, I don't feel good. Inko, come here honey, let me check your temperature. She knelt in front of him and felt his forehead first, then immediately pulled her hand away. He was hot to the touch. Inko, you're burning up, let's get you to the hospital. She picked him up and took him to the car, driving them straight to the hospital. Once they arrived, she rushed in as Izuku had gotten even hotter and had fallen unconscious. Before she got to the front counter, a man in a suit, medical mask, and black gloves intercepted her. Man, excuse me miss, if you wouldn't mind indulging me for just a second. She paused for a moment before trying to push past him. Inko, my son is sick. I need to get to a doctor. The man moved in front of her again. Man, it would be in your best interest and his if you would talk with me first. Panic had set in at this point and she just wanted her son to be treated. Man, he's 4, correct? Right around the time that quirks develop. He spoke firmly, pulling her attention. Inko, yes, but it's a high fever, not a quirk. Man, come with me, you're quite the lucky lady. Mom. Inko was confused but she followed the man through a set of doors and down one of the halls. A nurse at the counter tried to call out for them but a wave of his hand silenced the nurse immediately. Inko clutched her son close to her as she quickly followed the man to an empty exam room. He stepped to the side and motioned for her to enter before he grabbed another passing nurse and whispered something to them. Once he spoke with the nurse, he followed Inko into the room and motioned toward the exam table. Man, lay him down there. A nurse will be arriving with ice packs shortly to cool him down and prevent a shutdown. Inko laid Izuku down on the table and stepped back to not be in the way. Inko, what did you mean by I'm lucky? My son is extremely sick. He could be dying. Man, what I mean is you are lucky because I am here. He chuckled slightly at her confused look. Man, I'm here as an outreach for my organization. We study the concept of the quirk singularity and how quirks have been steadily growing more powerful over the years. Inko, what does that have to do with this? Man, because powerful quirks manifest in powerful ways, such as a lethal fever for fire-related quirks. He gave her a pointed look as he said the last part. Before Inko could respond, the nurse the man had spoken with came in with a cart laden with ice packs and started mounting them up around the boy. Man, now, I am pretty sure I already know the answer from your silence, but before I do anything, is there any chance that he could have a fire-related quirk? Inko, his father can breathe fire. Man, good, good. That gives me somewhere to start. The man pulled off a glove and gently touched his fingertips to Izuku's throat, then under his chin, and finally his cheeks. He frowned and looked toward Inko. Inko, what's wrong? Man, if you don't mind me asking, what is your quirk? Inko, I can pull small objects to me, but it's not that strong. Man, so, telekinesis? Inko, similar, but not quite. Why do you ask? Man, well, Where the fever manifests is directly related to where the quirk is. As a parent I assumed you went for the face or forehead which caused your panic response. Inko, yes. Man, and if it were anywhere else, he would be unconsciously favoring it and trying to pull it away from my prodding. So, it's clearly manifesting in the head. Inko, I don't understand what you mean. Man, there's a chance he got something of a fusion of aspects of your quirk and his father's. I would assume pyrokinesis, but I can't exactly say until my team can run some tests. Inko, just do something to save him, please. Man, he is already cooling down. He must have gotten too excited and accidentally activated his quirk without knowing. With no target it must have rebounded and started burning him up from the inside. Inko, will he be okay? Man, this is all theory, but if I am right, he will be fine. His body is also fighting back, so he should make a full recovery once his body temperature drops. But after that he is going to need training. There could be a lot of accidental activations. He is going to need things he can safely target without getting in trouble so the quirk can run its course. Inko, thank you for helping him, MR. Man, Hickory, Conne Hickory. And I did nothing special, just utilize my knowledge, made some assumptions, and kept you from being sent to a doctor I don't trust. Watcher, size, remember when I told you about aberrations in the multiverse? Yeah, that's one of those. He isn't supposed to exist in this world, and yet here he is. Now I'm going to have to report it. Spore, report what? Watcher, god damn it. Stop sneaking up on me like that. Spore, I will try to announce my presence in the future. But what will you have to report? Watcher, he has decided to stick his nose in business that isn't his again. Spore, who? Oh, wait, him? Watcher, it's never anyone else when I talk like this, is it? I don't know why you ask every time. Spore, you have a point. I'll have a word with him later, don't bother taking action unless he is making a mess. Watcher, on your orders, sir. Inko, what doctor don't you trust? Conne, Dr. Tsubasa, I have no proof of any misdeeds, but I just don't have a good feeling about him. Inko, well, thank you anyway. Conne checked Izuku's temperature and noted down that his fever was fading rather quickly. Conne, seems his quirk gave way. He should wake up shortly. Inko, you said you work with a research organization of some sort? Why would you be at a hospital like this? Conne, just gathering data from volunteers. Getting fresh data is essential to this particular line of work. You know what they say, knowledge is power. He chuckled awkwardly, then sat on a stool and motioned for her to sit on the chair in the room. Inko, what is the name of your organization? Would I have heard of them before? Conne, Hickory Research, nothing fancy name-wise. Just needed something official for the paperwork. Inko suddenly looks a little shocked, causing Conne to tilt his head questioningly. Conne, something wrong? Inko, Hickory Research, as in your last name, it's your research group? Conne, yeah. I did say it was my organization when I said I was here for outreach. Inko, why would the owner of a company help a random stranger? Conne, it's not like we are rich or famous, and our group is specifically to help people. As quirks get more powerful, we may start seeing deaths of children that can't handle all that power at such a young age. And I personally would rather we not have that kind of future become reality, so I formed this group to preemptively remove that problem. Izuku started to wake up from his little cocoon of ice packs. Izuku, groans Inko, Izuku sweetie. I'm so glad you're okay. Inko jumped from her chair and dashed over to Izuku, pulling the ice packs off of him. Izuku, where am I? Inko, at the hospital. You had a really bad fever. Conne, you were really lucky today, kid. Why? Because I am here. Conne did his best to imitate All Might, but he just didn't have the same weight in his voice. Regardless, Izuku's eyes lit up as he heard the famous line. Izuku, All Might. Inko, oh dear. Conne, yep, I figured you were probably a fan. All Might's the coolest, right? Izuku, yeah, he always saves everyone, he is the coolest. Conne, yeah, he's amazing. And huge. He wouldn't even fit in this room, he's too tall. Izuku giggled. Izuku, But that means he can carry more people to save them. Konne, yep, because he's got a super strong quirk, just like you. Izuku, what? I didn't think it was possible, but somehow Izuku's eyes sparkled even more after hearing that he had a powerful quirk like All Might. Konne, you have a super strong quirk, one that is going to take a lot of work to be able to use. Izuku, can I be a hero? Konne, you sure can, but only if you promise not to worry your mother again like you did today. Izuku, I didn't mean to. Inko, oh sweetie, I know you didn't, I'm not mad. Inko hugged Izuku tight to her. Konne, so, if you don't want to worry her again, you're gonna have to train like All Might did, and get extra strong to use your extra strong quirk, got it? Izuku, got it. He nodded in enthusiastically Inko's arms. Konne, good. Now, MRS. I don't think I actually caught your name. Inko Midoriya, and this is my son Izuku. Konne, fantastic, Mrs. Midoriya, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to offer my services to help make sure he gets appropriate training and tools so this doesn't happen again. Inko, I don't think we can afford something like Konne, free of charge, just like this hospital visit. Like I said before, my goal is to pull our treatment and handling of quirks ahead of the curve, not make money. Simply ensuring he doesn't fall victim to his own power is enough for me. Inko paused for a few moments to process. Inko, are you sure? Konne, quite. We will cover all the costs, and bill the Hero Commission as part of our research fund. That way everyone wins. He pulled down his mask and gave a smile and a wink to show that he was only joking and then turned to leave. Inko called after him. Inko, you didn't give me a business card. Konne, don't worry, we'll call you. Now I suggest you leave before the hospital asks why an unregistered patient is back here. With that he left, vanishing by the time Inko carried Izuku out into the hall. She quickly left the hospital and drove home, deciding to call and explain everything to Hisashi Midoriya, who was understandably very skeptical about it all. After a long conversation they agreed that when it was scheduled for Hikari Research to come to help Izuku train that he would make a trip home to confirm that everything was above board. Before long I found myself in a decent sized room with a TV, what was commonly referred to as the reaction room, impatiently waiting for my boss to show up with the problem causer. It wasn't long before two people appeared in front of me. A man with green skin, short dark green almost black hair and eyes devoid of joy, standing next to a man with long black hair, silver eyes, and slightly pale skin. Both in business suits and gloves. My boss and Mr. Hikari. Konne, yo, Watcher, long time no see. Watcher, what the hell do you think you're doing? Spore, I already lectured him on the way here. He doesn't need a repeat. Watcher, yes sir. Konne, wow, he gets a sir? I don't think you ever called me that. Watcher, that's because I respect him, while you are an interfering pile of trash that insists on causing problems in every single world you appear in. Including this one. Konne, it's not like I do it on purpose. Watcher, do you have any idea how hard you make my job? Or any of the oracles for that matter? Konne, fate is little more than a cruel joke anyway. Watcher, that doesn't mean that you can mess with stories as you see fit. Konne. I don't care if you think it's better afterward. Konne, I get it, I get it. Trust me, I'm tired of Spore lecturing me on this exact topic. Watcher, then why are you here? Konne, I couldn't let him see that shifty doctor, we still don't know if he is Kaede Geraki. Watcher, that doesn't mean that you should just insert yourself into his life. Konne, I won't change anything major, I just want to give him the best chance possible. Spore, Konne, we talked about this. Konne, yes sir. Watcher, support role only. Konne, what? Watcher, if you overstep your bounds, I will end you. You can only support the kid, I don't want people getting attached. Konne, I understand. Watcher, if you understood, we wouldn't be in this room having this conversation for the 1000th time. Konne, it was only 983 last I checked. Spore, it's well over 1200, do you really want to pick a fight with the record keepers now? Watcher, Get out, both of you. I have to start recording the next portion of this now corrupted story. Konne, I'm leaving. Watcher, I hate you. Konne, I know you love me. And before I could reply, both Konne and Spore vanished from the room. I sighed heavily and went back to my work. Speaking of which, if you like this and want to show support, please do like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, feel free to dislike and comment on how you think it could be improved. I am happy with constructive criticism. If you wish to support my friend Konne with his quirky characters like Spore and Konne, then feel free to follow him on Twitter at KonneHickory, and if you want to support his career as an author, feel free to buy his book from the Amazon link in the description. With that said, thank you for reading through this. I'm sorry it's short. I will try to make a longer story next time we look into Pyrokinetic Deku's life and see how it changes the overall story. Until next time, stay awesome, and I'll be watching.